Welcome, everyone, to the Retro Cool Guy podcast. I'm your host, the Retro Cool Guy, and I'd like to welcome you all back for our first episode of season 2. Thank you, everyone who checked out us during our first season, and I'd like to say thank you to maybe all the new people who are checking us out for the first time. Hope you enjoy it. And today, we're going to be talking about Jurassic Park for the Super Nintendo. A very challenging game. So first, let's bring in my co-host and producer. You all know him as the Drunken Beard or Nick. How we doing, Nick?
Good. How about yourself? Did you have a good break? Go anywhere fun?
There was a lot of work.
Work? Yeah, summer,
yeah,
huh?
yeah, a lot of work, man. A lot of pools clean in the summertime, but that's all calmed down now. So
Nice.
yes, dude, I am so excited and ready to go.
Oh,
How was your summer, man? I know you did a lot of traveling, huh?
yeah, I went Boise and Yellowstone National Park. Had to see all that fun stuff, and went did a huge 2,000-mile drive. So I'm driven out and ready to just sit and relax for the rest of the year.
I hear you, dude. I'm ready to do the same. So, let's get into it, shall we? As always, I have a very special guest for you guys. We're going to be talking about Jurassic Park the game, but we can't talk about Jurassic Park the game without talking about, of course, Jurassic Park the movie. So, I searched far and wide for y'all to find a very special guest. He's a film aficionado and a future Oscar winner. We call him Mr. Filmstock. Other people call him Anthony. How you doing, Anthony?
Oh, how are you guys? Have me on the show.
Hey, man. So glad to have you here, man. Uh, you are a film critic. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
Or maybe a jack of all trades, right? You
I'd say that
do
too.
quite a different, yeah. When it comes to films, you do reviews, you do reactions. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? How do you get into that?
Well, I was always into the aspect of film ever since I was little. I loved movies. I loved going to the movies, and you know, with this episode being Jurassic Park, it was one of the first movies I ever saw in a movie theater. My father and mother took me, and ever since then, I was just fascinated by the way just movies happened. Like seeing dinosaurs on the big screen when you're like 6 years old is crazy. And then when after that, it's just like every weekend, my mom from then on out just took me to the movies every single weekend. Didn't matter what movie it was. It was just get that experience. And then from then on, like as I got older, I figured, let me do some movie reviews and see what happens. I mean, when you grow up, you see Siskel and Ebert and everything. You're like, I could do that. It's not that hard. But sometimes, you have that backlash of people not agreeing with you on certain things or stuff like that. But then it's the aspect of getting that feeling of you're watching a movie and then you giving your opinion about it. And it's just that feeling of seeing what other people think.
Yeah, it's great because films can be interpreted in so many different ways. It's all about a personal perspective. You know, uh, some people can watch a film and take away one thing, and other people can watch a film and take away something completely different. And I
Oh,
think that's what's
absolutely.
great about movies. I'm a big movie fan too. I'm sure a lot of our listeners are too. Uh, so your first experience that Jurassic Park was your first movie that you got to see in the movie theater.
Correct. It was, yes. The
That,
movie theater was packed. We got there late and we had to sit in the middle, and I was sitting on my dad's lap the entire movie. He tried to cover my face that one time where the T Rex eats the guy on the toilet, and I was like, no, no, let me see what's happening. So it was just a fun experience all around.
yes. Oh, that is one of the greatest scenes in film history.
It's
Everybody remembers that scene.
right, right.
Uh, so, what other things have you done with movies? Do you just do reviews, or are you trying to film anything yourself? Have you thought about directing?
I have directed. I directed a few short films, stuff that I wrote myself. Took inspiration from horror films, thriller films, and just decided to put that into like a short horror film that I released about, my goodness, 10 years ago. I want to say with a couple of film students that I went to film school with. It was about like a 8 to 10 minute short film about dreams and seeing if your dream is a reality or not, what's real and what's fake. I've been working on that, and then I've been working also on mostly writing a lot as well. I write a lot of scripts, and just to let it sit there and then revisit it a few years later, and work on other things. Plus, I've been doing a lot of things for friends with editing and a little bit of acting work here and there.
That's awesome, man. They're really gotten into this. Uh, I love seeing people do that. Just create things. Uh, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on. I checked out your YouTube channel. I was like, man, this guy seems really interesting. All right, I gotta bring him on. I gotta ask him questions. So, is horror films? Would you say that's your favorite genre of film?
Yes, it is. Yeah, horror is definitely a favorite of mine. Also, thrillers, action, and more so like sci-fi as well.
Is there
Um,
any type of film you don't like? Like you stay away from
I'm
rom coms?
I don't mind rom-coms or coming of age films, but I can't do musicals.
No musicals? No Sweeney Todd?
Oh man, those are my favorites.
I can do some musicals, maybe Grease, The Sound of Music, Chicago, Sweeney Todd, like the movie Nine with Daniel Day Lewis. But other than that, anything that doesn't work with the plot to move it forward, I just can't get into it.
So all
I
Disney
know.
films just out.
Well, I mean, those are fine, I guess. I want to say because they're animated. Um, with them doing the live action stuff, it's just like, okay, we can change it up a little
Well,
bit.
yeah, I mean, let's not talk about the live action stuff. Please.
Absolutely.
Oh, come on. Y'all didn't like that stuff? You don't like The
No,
Lion King? Wasn't that great?
no, no.
No, it was not. Seriously.
No comment. No comment.
No comment.
Uh,
All right. Okay, so where can is there anywhere where we can see this horror film of yours? Have you released it to the public?
I have. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com /Marchio Productions. That's Marchio Productions. It's about an 8.5 minute short film.
Shout out. And do you have plans for releasing any future films?
I do. I do. I'm working on a couple things right now, mostly a feature length film and another, I want to say, a sequel to the film that I have that I did 10 years ago. So I didn't look at it as a sequel, but I figured get into the aspect of one of the characters that are in that short film and just, expand on that.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about Jurassic Park the movie. Uh, Anthony, one of the things that really impressed me with this movie is the special effects and how they still hold up today. You know, uh, given your expertise with films and all the films that you watch, tell us how you feel about the special effects then and compared to today. I know you said when you were a kid it blew you away, but how do you feel about it now? Does it still hold up to you?
I feel like it does. Yeah, it definitely holds up. I mean, what Industrial Light and Magic were able to do back then, like they were going to use puppeteers as dinosaurs, and then Steven Spielberg was shown this 1 minute clip on a computer screen about a dinosaur prancing through an open field and decided, let's try this, let's do this. And it came to life. I mean, even the close up scenes with the T Rex, it's just animatronic puppeteers. But if you see that in real life, it's just scary, But compared to today, with how the Jurassic Park trilogy was, and then now the Jurassic World trilogy, the Jurassic World trilogy is more straightforward with the CGI. It's not as clean, but I feel like Jurassic Park is more cleaner with the edits of transitioning into the CGI. And you can definitely tell that, even with the close up scenes and some far away aspects. It's just done better back in the day. And even though technology has advanced so much in the last 30 years within the film industry, I feel like they still haven't quite gotten to the point where they can actually figure out what to do with CGI yet, because the blue screen, the green screen, and then it's just an actor acting to nothing there. But if you have something like an animatronic, like they had with the T Rex in the original Jurassic Park, I feel like it'll get things better from the aspect of the actor, and we'll see more things happening.
Yeah, it brings out the realism to the actor
Oh,
instead
definitely.
of relying purely on the actor's imagination.
Of
You
course,
know,
yeah. And then you can see the CGI aspect with today's films of sometimes the green screen, blue screen is not, you know, edited out quite a bit, and you can still see that little shade of green or blue behind them on the screen. When back in the day, you had like something like Jurassic Park, it was the darker scenes, you couldn't tell anything. But then when the scenes got brighter, it's like, oh, okay, is this animatronic or is this CGI?
yeah.
I
Go ahead, Nick.
no, I think that's more of a testament to not saying practical effects are the way to go all the time, but more of the blending of the practical effects with CG gives at least the animators in the CG something to work with that has lighting and actual things that they can replicate, like reflections, and then of course the actors have something to look at with a practical effect, and then have something over it.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
But uh, and I think the challenge nowadays, most of the time, is directors possibly not giving the CG teams always all the information or even time to do these special effects. Instead of using smaller amounts of special effects that look really good, they'll do full scenes that are rushed, that look possibly
Right.
terrible
Right, because they're
comparatively.
always trying to meet that deadline, and it's just when you meet that deadline in a film, you have like a
Hmm.
year for it to come out, and you're just rushing through it. It's not like you said; it's not going to be that perfect, pristine condition.
Do you guys think that the directors are more hands off with the CGI than they used to be? Because we always remember Steven Spielberg as being very hands on with all the special effects in all of his movies. So do you think that's changed now with directors and just, guys like computers?
I
Really
feel
depends on the director.
true. Yeah, there's a lot of directors in the industry that are want to be hands on, like you said, Spielberg. Another is James Cameron, who just doesn't make a movie in 10 years, and it is a box office sensation once again. But I feel like the studios need to give the creative effort back to the director, back to the writer. I mean, once you write your story, it's out of your hands, and the studio can do whatever they want. Even with CGI and the aspect of the editing, it's out of your hands, and what you film is not usually your final product that you see on the big screen.
Yes, it's definitely changed industry. Well, you can tell from the outside. I'm sure you, being on the inside, have a lot of insight.
A lot of studio
With
interests, yeah, a lot of interesting friends I have who tell me certain things about what's going on.
let's go ahead and start talking about the game. So, Jurassic Park for SNES was released just a few months after the movie in October of 1993. It was developed by Ocean, and apparently they paid an undisclosed six figures to get the rights to this game. Uh, that is a lot of money for the rights. It kind of reminded me of the whole ET situation, except this game was a success. This game actually made some money. Uh, so they were able to use like digitized photos from the film. They gave them access to the film stock, so they incorporated some of that. And also, Steven Spielberg was a little bit hands on with this game as well, not just with the movie. He said he wanted the game to be immersive, just like the film. And it did a pretty decent job with that. It is very close to the film. So, but let's talk about the graphics first. We'll get into the graphics on Jurassic SNES. So when you first start the game, you're in a top-down overhead view, and it still looks pretty good. Like the game still holds up. It's similar to, it's like an action adventure game, so similar to what you would see in Zelda or Beyond Oasis, like we talked about, like that game a while ago. And then when you go inside the buildings, it switches to a first-person view, which is very similar to Doom or what's another one off the top of my head here? Wolfenstein, something like that. Uh, so this is where it gets a little choppy. I mean, they did a pretty good job.
Understatement.
I try to give them a little credit because it is a Super Nintendo, right? So when I'm in these buildings, I think about Doom and how they ported that to the SNES and how much work that took. So that's kind of I kind of
And
give them slack for that.
they did a good job. I don't believe this actually has a Super FX chip, so being able to
It does not. It does not
yeah do the texture mapping and the computation for it is pretty impressive. But also it shows at the 3 frames per second that it runs. It feels like in the interior.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. As a kid, it felt really great. It was pretty cool to see that on the Super Nintendo as a kid. Uh, you just didn't really see that in a lot of games on the Super. At least I don't remember seeing that in a lot of games.
No, there's very few first person.
Yeah, so just to be able to play that on that was pretty impressive. But when you got inside the dinosaurs, if you just kind of took your time, if you didn't like run through it, you could easily kill anything before it ever saw you.
Oh yeah, I was dying of boredom as I watched all
Yeah,
the dinosaurs from a distance.
you just kind of go stealth mode a little bit, and you just shoot them from afar with the rocket launcher or something like that, and get through them pretty easy. But they are set up like a maze, and there's a lot of backtracking. You back and forth,
With
get
the
back in the
elevators.
car, the elevator. Oh, those
What
elevators.
floor did I get off on again? What direction am I
That's
going?
And sometimes it felt repetitive too, because you go into the visitor center, you kill one dinosaur, you go out, you go back in. It's like, wait, why is that dinosaur still alive? Didn't I just kill it? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They like the outdoor section was so much more fun than the interior section.
Yeah, the outdoor section, it was done really well too. Still set up like a maze, but I felt very similar to Link to the Past, kind of, but done really well. Variety of dinosaurs is pretty good. Of course, there's raptors chasing you. Uh, they're like jump scares almost. This game really had a horror feeling, like reminded me of Resident Evil a little bit. You're just walking through the woods, and then all of a sudden the raptors are attacking you without warning, or a triceratops is chasing you, or if you go to one area, the T Rex even comes out, and there's not much you can do to get away from that guy.
That's true.
Uh, the other super annoying part I had with it was that the text pop-ups that take up 70% of the screen, warning you or like notifying,
Oh
like
yeah, like how many eggs you have
careful,
left or something.
or like careful, don't startle whatever those
Don't shoot the Gallimimus or
yes,
whatever they are.
as
Yeah,
they're
thanks.
running into me, I can't see them because the
Exactly.
text box is up. Leave me alone.
That was definitely an issue I ran into. It was it was annoying. It took me a while. I guess if you press L or R when that pops up, it'll make it disappear like
Oh,
quicker. Yeah,
that would
I
have been
didn't
nice to
figure
know.
that out until it was too late. Basically. So the graphics, I mean, we can all pretty agree, right? Graphically wise, pretty good,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I
100%.
mean,
Um,
for a Super Nintendo game, I mean, it's done. I mean, the overworld, like you said, Nick, it's done really good.
yeah.
Like, I think that looks really great. It's got a good
Good
feeling
sprite
to it.
work.
Yeah, it looks good. The dinosaurs move good. It's great. The inside, it's a little sketchy.
Yeah.
It's
They.
impressive for what they had, but if you try to compare it to anything today, it's
Oh,
not fair,
I mean, even then, it's they're muddy textures, but of course they're just using what was it the mode 7 to scale and stretch things, similar to again Zelda's overworld map or um, any of those world maps. I guess even Final Fantasy 6 used that um, and whatnot, where you kind of get that stretched texture looking warped texture. So it doesn't look fantastic, but they still did a pretty good job using you know that mode. Just wish the AI was programmed a bit better or pathing for that. Did
Yeah.
you? They also like would aggro through walls. You noticed?
Yes. Yes, I did notice that sometimes.
Yeah.
See a tail poking through.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
like I'm hearing dinosaurs. I'm like, where are they? Oh, they're just on the other side of the wall. Hold on, let me go around.
What got me with the game was that there was no save button, and you had to sit through it and just
Yeah.
play it, and you couldn't turn off your console.
Oh yeah.
But if you wanted a break, just pause it, turn your TV off, and hope and pray the power doesn't go out.
Yeah.
That's that's something we're definitely gonna be getting into. Uh
What the odd choice of lives as well.
Right.
four?
Well, I mean, just having them in general.
Ah, yeah, see that. But real quick, talk about the music. So we have basically I remember three tracks. You have the overworld track on the outside, which is completely bumping. I love that music. And then you have the music on the inside buildings. It changes to it's pretty creepy. Let's just say that. It's the music inside, I felt it was creepy. And I think it did a good job of setting the mood. But the best music in the game by far is in the elevator.
I suppose.
The elevator music, man, they nailed that.
It
Oh,
definitely
it's
sounds
so
like
good.
elevator music.
It's so good. Nick, let's do it, man. Let's fire it up for them. The listeners have to hear it.
All right. Yeah, it's like that 1980s mall music.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, you're in this creepy building, and then you go into the elevator, and it changes into that.
Hmm,
It's just
fantastic.
yeah, but it works. Any other comments on the music? Any opinions that you guys want to give? How do y'all feel about the music with this game?
I mean, it's fine. It's nothing that I would hum,
That's true.
you know. Nothing really just sticks out to me.
Yeah, yeah,
Eh,
it's not spectacular for sure, but it works in the game, and I think it set the mood pretty well. Oh, yeah,
The track Raptor Rap really sets the mood.
Weird Al released a track also with this movie, so that's something everybody needs to go check out.
Oh, I just actually went and saw Weird Al.
The movie, yeah.
No, I mean him in
Oh,
live.
nice.
Oh, you saw him live.
Yeah.
Did he play
Hey,
the Jurassic Park song?
I don't think so. They did
Ah,
play a lot of. It's the self-indulgent tour or whatever, where they play all the non-popular songs. So
pretty cool. I would love to see Weird Al.
I highly recommend. Fun times.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this game and talk about the gameplay because this is
Wait, there's gameplay?
there's some gameplay here. So just to inform the listeners, the new folks, if you've listened to the show before, you kind of know how we try to do it here. We play the games, but we don't use any guides. We kind of stick to it like how it used to be. Like back then, I didn't have access to the internet or the just videos to go look something up. You just had to play these games. You got the instruction booklet. Maybe you got a Nintendo Power. You know, every now and then. I know some people had a subscription. I never did. But so with these games, we just try to figure them out. You know, and this one is damn near impossible to just figure out.
Yeah.
They don't give you a lot to go on at all. I even looked at the manual, and it wasn't that much of a help, really. Uh, Everything is very cryptic. The You have to go up to the light poles, and they will kind of give you a hint on what you have to do. Like, hey, go turn on the generator. Where's that? They don't tell you. Just gotta go find it. And then they'll tell you, okay, you gotta, turn the generator on, but they don't tell you that you need an access card to get to the generator first. So you're left just wandering around trying to figure these things out without a guide.
Got to reset the breakers, but you got to turn on the generator to reset the breakers.
Yeah, exactly. You need an ID to get through this. We're not going to tell you where to find these things. Very complicated game.
Very, very much so.
I got super frustrated with this one. Go ahead, Anthony. How's your experience with
My
this one?
goodness, it's like I didn't mind the game, but it was just so difficult to beat, and I don't even think I did beat it. It's just like constantly the same thing over and over again. But the outer world aspect of it was really good, and then it just got confusing when you went into the visitor center and just trying to go through the maze in the map. It's just like you said, like it's not giving you that instruction of what to do, and you don't know where to go. That's the difference. I feel like it's like, but for what it was different. But like you said in the beginning, it was like Doom. You know, it was just that's what it felt like, just with dinosaurs.
Doom with dinosaurs. Now that's a game. Nick, go ahead, man. I know you got something to say about it.
Yeah, I really didn't like this game. Like overall, the overworld fantastic. I actually loved going through there, but and collecting the dinosaur eggs and all that fun stuff. But the like the interior section, just I think I was in there for like 2 or 3 hours, and my brain was mush from because there's nothing to fight. The dinosaurs just kind of stand there. You shoot them. I don't know why they give you an ammo pool because they give you so much ammo. I don't know what the difference between the secondary weapon really was, like the using like the bullet whip things.
Mhm.
They seem to do the exact same thing as a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? What is the purpose of these sections other than to add time to the game? Uh,
Busy
so
work.
busy work, yeah. Um, again, the outside's fantastic, and I had no problem. But man, that interior, it was just mind-numbingly boring. And I would have been fine if the dinosaurs were somewhat of a challenge, but nothing really was. I don't think I fully beat it as well because I set aside an entire afternoon, and by the time the afternoon was over, I was like, okay, I think I got enough out of this game to return it to Blockbuster.
Yeah, let's talk about those weapons real quick that you brought up. So you have the rocket launcher, you have
Shotgun.
uh the the Polaris. I'm terrible at pronouncing things. Forgive me. Uh, you have the shotgun. You get the cattle prod that comes with it. I feel like
gas
There's
grenades,
one, the gas grenades
and a
and
tranquilizer
the
gun.
tranquilizer guns. Thank you. So here's what I know about the weapon. The shotgun was automatic, but it's the weakest one in the game. It takes several shots to take down a raptor, and that's basically kind of how I judged the weapons was how fast I could take down a raptor because those things were evil, evil creatures. Uh, so shotgun, it also seemed to be the most rare. Like there was less of that than anything. Like I found
Yeah.
more rockets in the flare thing than I did the shotgun. So I thought the shotgun was going to be like the most powerful thing, but no, it's the weakest. And I mean, other than it being automatic, it's pretty much useless. So I stayed away from that one. The darts are only good on the T Rex. Are hang on, let me reverse that for you. The only thing that works on the T Rex is the darts, the tranquilizer darts. I don't understand that logic. The tranquilizer dart on a giant T Rex as opposed to a rocket launcher. I mean, I know it's a T Rex, but it's supposed to be a rocket. You'd think that would blow up a T Rex. I don't know.
Oh. Oh, hey, one more complaint about the interior sections. The auto pickup of items while you're walking around in there instead of like on the outside where you had to press, I think, Y to pick up an item. So you'd walk.
Absolutely annoying.
So annoying when you're like walk over the shotgun shells and you didn't want those, so you have to go back and walk over them again so you can pick back up your rockets.
Yeah, that was. I didn't like that either. There's a lot of things I didn't necessarily like. So that's definitely one of them. It's annoying. Uh, I really tried hard to do this game, like get into this game. I did hand drawn maps of the buildings. Uh, I mean, just there's just no direction. There's no. It's too cryptic, and and the ID cards are what broke me. Okay, like I understood like the messages. You can figure those out. Like okay, go turn on the generator. All right, so you just find the building with the generator. But the ID card, where the hell is that? And then like there's a mission where you have to clear the ship of raptors. Okay, so I get to the ship, I start clearing it of raptors. There's another section I have to go into to kill the rest of the raptors. Guess what? You need the ID card. Somebody else's ID card. Okay, great. Pointless. So you spend the rest of the I swear 90% of the game was me looking for ID cards. And some of them are hidden in rooms where you need the night vision goggles. That's something we
Yeah.
haven't mentioned yet. Is it inside the
I found
building?
those really quickly, surprisingly.
The night vision goggle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
in some places it seems like it's easy, but like in the visitor center, it took me
I
forever to
could
find
never
them.
find them. How did you guys find? Where did you guys find them?
I just found them on the floor. It's like
Yeah,
that.
dude, like little
Oh
battery
man!
laying on the ground.
Yeah.
That's your yeah.
Plus, there were like multiple floors
So
on the visitor center. And it's like, am I on the right floor, or it's just like
Yeah, that confused the crap out of me. Like, am I
right?
going left or right?
But then
I
it's
don't
like you're
remember.
going around.
the deeper you get into the game, it gets
That's
worse
true. It
in the
does.
visitor.
Mhm.
If they gave us like
Uh,
maybe like a little John Hammond in a corner with his ID cards, like giving it to us, maybe it would have been a little bit easier. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like at the end of an objective, here's the next ID
Right.
card that you're gonna need. Not, hey, good luck. It's out there somewhere, buddy.
Or have like
Go
Ian
find
Malcolm
it.
show up and give us a fact instead of putting him up on the screen in text. You know, that would have been much easier.
So we got way off subject there. Back to the weapons. When it comes to the weapons, the two you just want to carry are basically the rocket launcher and the little Polaris rifle. And Nick, you asked what the difference was. The only difference that I noticed was on the outside map, the overworld map. The rockets stop at one. Like if you hit a raptor, it'll kill just the first raptor in front of it. But
mm,
the other rifle goes through them and will kill the
gotcha.
one behind it. So I used those on the overworld, and I kept saved the rockets for inside. but none of it mattered because I could never find the right ID. And if they would have just put a password system, save. I understand they don't want to do the save thing. Batteries, you have to put those in the cartridge, right? Is that correct? I'm not a tech guru, but I think they run off the battery in the cartridge. It's a little extra money produced.
Mhm.
Oh
So
yes, yep,
yeah,
yeah,
for like a save file, like
yeah.
got
They
Donkey Kong or Zelda.
they require battery to keep the saves alive.
Yes. So I understand not wanting to do that, but why in the hell would you not put a password system?
Would have made things a
Something.
lot easier.
Why start all over? Yeah, I mean, to be to sit down and figure out this game, you basically had to dedicate the whole day because you can't start like you start over anytime you turn it off. There's no saving, there's no passwords, and I don't understand why they didn't put that in. It would have made this game so much better.
Instead, they give you 5 lives and 2 continues, which also make no sense. They should just you die, you just go back to a start point or whatever. Same thing as the lives, but why would you even bother with a life
That's
system at that
true.
point?
Yeah, I yeah, I don't understand
Just like, okay, you
some
get
of those
15
things.
attempts. Okay, well, what's the point then of having lives? But I digress. But yeah, password system
Correct me if
definitely
I'm
would have
wrong.
been
There were checkpoints, right,
much.
or
Yeah,
save points, or no? There were.
Yes,
Oh,
those light
right.
poles
Okay.
that we mentioned earlier, those were the like a checkpoint. Or if you go inside a building, when you come out,
Oh,
that's the
okay.
checkpoint. Like you'll start at whatever building you
Yeah, but like you
came
said,
out.
like password system, or just have the game start off from that previous checkpoint.
Would have been it would have saved this game, in my opinion, because this game almost hits on every mark. The graphics are good. They took risk with the indoor parts. I know it's not the best out there, but there's not many like that. Like you said, Nick, there's very few. So I like that they took the risk with that, and the game is impressive. It really sticks to the movie. I think it's a good representation of the film. I mean, you're basically trying to do the same thing. Well, they added some objectives. They don't run around finding eggs in the movie, but but I do know that in the book, when they do have a thing with the ship, so that actually comes from the book when you're supposed to clear the raptors off the ship. You know,
yeah. I
uh,
think that's actually what made it in Jurassic Park too.
yeah, I
Mhm.
think that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, Jurassic Park 2. That's a good one. But yeah, so I mean, music's good, graphics are good, gameplay. It just the save ruins everything because it's not that bad of a game, but just the fact that you have to start over every single time you turn it off. I'm sure once you memorize where everything is, like once I figured out how to turn on the generator, I could do that part easy. But it turns into one of those guessing games, where like you like game. Okay, I walk this way. Oh, I get hit. Okay, I'll walk this way. Go left instead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really feel like it was kind of set up in the era of making it too hard to beat in a day or two, kind of thing, where they for rentals. So they wanted to make it as long as possible for that.
Well, speaking of beating it in a day, did you notice on the world map, either one of you, that there was some letters scattered about? Like
Mm-hmm.
you saw like a letter R close to the visitor center or something like
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
I know
So
what you're getting at.
I spent about 2 hours or so trying to figure out what these letters are, trying to pick them up or collect them. I'm like, what is this nonsense? Okay. Thankfully, just out of the blue, a good listener of ours, I mentioned him before on the show. His name is JCast68K on Twitter. Okay. he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, did you know about this? About Jurassic Park?" He's a big Jurassic Park fan. So, and it's about those letters. Those letters were actually a contest that was put on in the United States by Ocean, the developers of the game, and whoever could find all the letters first and piece them together would, to make a word, would win $5,000. And it actually took the winner. They released the contest, and 2 days later, somebody won it after beating the game in 10 hours and figuring out what the message. And if you put all the letters together, it spells out Dr. Horner, and that is for Dr. Jack Horner. He was a paleontologist who was a consultant for the film. So that's how that tied in there. I felt like an idiot after reading that. I'm really glad he sent me that. I probably would have spent another whole day just trying to figure out what these letters are because we're not looking stuff up, So would have never known.
Wow, that's incredible. $5,000 back in the day. Ooh, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money back then. 1994. Yeah,
94. Yeah,
Great.
you could have got a was it that Nintendo VR
Yeah.
system?
A couple of those.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So I'm
And all 8
surprised.
games. No, sorry.
How did somebody beat that game 10 hours? I don't know.
Yeah.
Dedication.
Or they just look
'Cause-
for the letters for 10 hours. That's about it.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I from what I understand, you had to progress through the game to find all the letters. So I guess the last one might have been on the helipad.
I
I
don't
don't
even
really
think I
know
got
for
that
sure
far.
though. To be honest, I don't know how far I really got. I got to the ship. Like I said, I tried to clear that out, but I could never find the ID card to finish that part. Uh, Found a room with some blue eggs, but I had no idea what to do there. I guess I wasn't ready for that mission yet. I think it comes after the ship. But yeah, that was about it for me. I definitely did not beat this game. Um, quite frankly, I don't know if I will ever
It's,
try again.
yeah, same here.
Yeah.
It is if I do, it's gonna be with a guide. I might just have to do it with a guide, and it would just be for curiosity, just to see, you know. But it's a shame, really, because I really feel like if the game had any sort of password system, I would feel 100% different. Like it'd probably be one of the better games out there. But just that to me, it breaks it. It breaks the game because there's who has that time to just to figure that out like that. It's too cryptic. If they were more specific, or if they at least put a compass to show where the ID cards were, just to give you a general direction.
They don't call it Nintendo Hard for a reason. Come on now.
Yeah, that's true. But there's Nintendo Hard, and then there's
Yeah.
broke. So that feels broke to me. But
Seems like it was probably rushed a bit trying to get it out the door for the movie.
yeah, everyone knows they were on time crunch back then, especially with licensed games. They wanted to coincide with the movie, get it out in time, make it more profitable. So I
Yeah,
guess
always.
we'll blame corporatism.
And I think it was on like Nintendo's power list of top 20 games for like what, a year or half a year or something like that. Yeah, it's
I
true.
mean, it
It's true.
reviewed
Yeah.
well.
And people loved it for back in the day.
Well, it
Yeah.
was an impressive game. Like I said, they took some risk with that first person thing. That I know we kind of laugh at it now, but back then that was really a huge step forward for a console game. Like,
Surprisingly, Nintendo Power actually gave one of the lowest scores out of all the
Wow.
people that reviewed it.
Nintendo Power gave it the lowest
Yeah,
score.
they gave it a
Wow.
3.6 out of 5. The other Edge was the other one, but everyone else gave it
Wow.
like 90s, 80s.
Maybe that's because Nintendo didn't have a hand in it. Wonder how many reviews on Nintendo Power look at third-party games and they got like really low reviews, but all the licensed Nintendo games got like 9.8, 9.5.
Oh, it Nintendo Power gave Jurassic Park 2, 4.5, or 4 out of 5 scores for graphics and sound, theme and fun, but 2.8 out of 5 for play and control, and 3.5 for challenge.
Interesting.
So
Pretty accurate, honestly. I would say that's definitely pretty accurate.
I would have gave the fun the 2.8.
Wasn't there a Genesis version of it also, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yep. There is a Genesis version, but it is a
That's
completely
true.
different style of game.
Yeah.
And I believe in that one you get to play as
Oh,
Dinosaur
okay.
as well. But there is also an NES version that is very, very similar to the Super Nintendo version. And I did check that one out just a little bit, and it's better. It's better than the Super Nintendo game. It's way more straightforward. And for an NES game, it looks pretty damn good. So I highly recommend everybody go check that one out
Plus, it's
over the
always
Super
good
Nintendo one.
when a game is
I
straightforward.
can't say
It's just simple, run through it. That's it.
yeah, I mean, it's still the overtop view. Like it's very similar to the Super Nintendo game, but it's better, and I believe
Oh,
it has
nice.
a password. So if I'm not mistaken, yeah. But I can't speak too much on that Sega one because I've never actually played that one. I've just seen
Yeah,
some screenshots and stuff from it.
I've played the Sega one way back. If I remember correctly, it's like a side scroller adventure uh kind of thing, where you like run around sewers and
Hmm.
like the jungle, and it has really good sprite work for like trying to think. Basically, it was, what was that game called? I think you mentioned it earlier. But anyways, it's really good, like well animated and all that other fun stuff. But I don't remember it being very fun. But again, that was like in the 90s, so I'm trying to. I'd have to go look up videos or something on it.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to revisit that one. Maybe. So I think we've all made our feelings pretty well known about this game. It's got really good graphics, very ambitious, but it fails on the gameplay aspects. Mostly for me, for the no save, no saving, no passwords. It's just too impossible, too cryptic to do. Gonna have to use a guide. Anthony, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with us
I'm with
about
you on it.
Jurassic Park for SNES?
If they had a password feature or like a save feature, it would have made the game much more easier to play and understand. And it's like if they didn't have certain, like I said, if they maybe added small characters coming in, like John Hammond or Ian Malcolm, just to give it like a little, like a one up, it would have been more interesting for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would have been cool to see just a few extra characters, maybe a few more dinosaurs. Been nice. How about you, Nick? Any final thoughts or critiques you want to leave with us on Jurassic Park for SNES?
I Like I said, I would have preferred the interiors a bit more challenging. Maybe an auto mapping feature would have been helpful. Not necessarily giving you a map right away, but after you explore, it like fills it in. So you kind of know if you're backtracking or not when adding points of interest. I don't care for, obviously the life system didn't make much sense with the continues. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with much death in that game, anyways, because everything was, especially interior, just kind of boring walking around, and just some more polish to things like picking up the items, make sure the buttons are the same on both sides instead of just picking them up. Blah blah blah. And yeah, the save feature would have been nice, or at least a password system. But it was just, for me, it was just more mind-numbingly, boring than fun overall.
Not holding back.
Telling it like it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those games, man. I think there's a lot of missed opportunity with that one. Could have really gone down as one of the greatest SNES games probably ever. But
Do I hear HD remake?
That would be nice.
that would be
I-
something.
Hmm.
That would be something. I could see that. Well, folks, we are about to wrap things up here for today. But first, before we get going, talk about what's going to happen with our next episode. So next month is Halloween, and for those of you who follow me on Twitter, you know how much I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. We celebrate big here at my house. We always dress up. The whole family dresses up. We hand out full size candy bars. We throw a party. It's a good time. So I'm really excited to do our very first Halloween episode. Especially having Nick here. I hopefully can talk him into dressing up. Uh,
I have my
and
Silent Bob get up.
hey, dude, any costume, man, whatever you want, dude. If you dress up, dude, it'll be great. We'll share some pictures online and stuff. It'll be good. Of course, I'll have a very special guest lined up for you. I'm excited to get that guy on the show. But big question: what's the game? What game are we gonna cover for the very first Halloween episode? And so thought real hard about this. Like we could go Castlevania. That's very Halloween, right? Resident Evil, man. Who doesn't like Resident Evil? But
How about the scariest game of all, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the NES?
no, I want something people can actually play, not something they're gonna turn on for 5 seconds and then scream. So I wanted to find something good, and this game is something that I played when I was a kid, and I spent a lot of time on, and I think you guys are really gonna like it. It fits really well with Halloween. We're gonna play Ghoul School for the NES, and if you've never heard of that, good. Go check it out before the episode comes out. It's a good one. We're gonna have a good time with this game. So, let me thank you, Anthony, for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Love talking to you, man. One more time, tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter, and if you want to give
You can
that
find me
plug
on
for your
Twitter
movie
at
one more
Mr.
time. Go ahead.
Filmstock. You can also find me on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Marchio Productions, MARCHIO. And my film on there is called Dream Shadows. I will actually post that on the homepage so everyone can check it out and give it a look.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you for
Again,
having
thank
me.
you for being here. I appreciate it.
And
And
thank you.
Nick, man,
Yeah.
dude, I hope you're ready, dude. This is gonna be a great season. This is
All
gonna
right.
be so fun, dude. We got guests lined up. We got games lined up.
Awesome.
It's gonna be good, dude. Thank you so much, Nick.
Of course.
As you know, this show wouldn't be possible without you, man. So I love you. I appreciate you being here, dude. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And everyone out there, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next month. We're going to release that episode on Halloween. It will be our first Halloween special. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And if this was your first time tuning in, go check out our first season. It's good. It's raw. It's rough, but it's a good time. So thank you all for coming. And please remember, everyone, that the light at the end of the tunnel may be you. Goodbye.